Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to the Hornet Spotlight. I'm Mark James, your host, and happy to be joined by a Beech Grove graduate, 1982. Our guest on the Hornet Spotlight, our most recent inductee into the Hall of Fame. We welcome Michael Finchum back to Beech Grove. Thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Well, we had an opportunity to take a walk around Beech Grove High School, and you indicated to me that quite a bit has changed since you were here as a student.
Yes, it's a lot bigger than what I remembered. You've got a couple of new wings, a science wing added on, and we're actually in what used to be the band room, which is now your studio, and the band room is actually down where I believed was the pool back when I was in school. So
yeah. Well, we were talking a little bit about that period of time, and we just had recently our celebration of success. And basically what it is an opportunity for us to pat our students on the back who are involved in different clubs and activities. And I think the numbers are right around 40% or so of the students that we have involved in terms of student enrollment. And certainly we're always looking to get those numbers higher. You talked about your time spent with the band program here and how fondly you remember that.
Yes, I did. I really, that was probably the most fun that I've had when I come through the school. In the middle school and the high school, I was on the drum line, and the camaraderie between all the drummers was great. The band members were great. We spent a lot of time even during the summer learning, you know, out on the marching, out on the field, doing the marching, and that's probably the best times I can remember.
Yeah, and you were talking about growing up here in Beech Grove, and you told me a great story. One of your first jobs was at a bait shop here locally?
Yes, I counted worms down a bait shop on Main Street in Emerson. The guy paid pretty good. It was $25 a box. There was 500 worms in every box, so we'd set it up, and you'd have your 1 dozen, your 3 dozen, and we'd count them out.
Now, Randy Clevenger is our assistant principal, and he's in charge of making sure we get the guests booked and get them on the show. He gets me the information, and one of the things that really piqued my interest when he told me that we were bringing you in to do the show and induct you into the Hall of Fame was that your senior year in high school, you went to work at Channel 4, WGTV in Indianapolis. It's still in existence, radically different from what it was in those days. Let's touch a little bit upon that experience and how you ended up at Channel 4 on the old Bluff Road studios here on the south side.
Okay. Well, my old neighbor, I used to live on Killeen Drive there in Beech Grove, and my old neighbor worked at Channel 4, and he actually gave me a call and asked me if I wanted to work part-time there as putting the cartoon shows together for Cowboy Bob and Janie. I thought that'd be a great opportunity, sounded like a lot of fun. So I actually left after school my senior year and would go work into the evening. And then thereafter I graduated, they actually offered me a full-time position. I did videotape editing work, and I still put the cartoon shows together. I also was a projectionist. And one of the fondest memories of that was I got to be on Sammy Terry a couple of times, and that was a lot of fun. People probably remember George the Spider. I got to do George the Spider as well as be on the show myself. So.
Well, in those days, we talked about it before we went on, I think you absolutely had to enjoy not only what you did, but the people you did it with, because you weren't making any money.
That's right. We didn't make any money, but it was like a family atmosphere, and I just loved everybody I worked with, and it was like not going to work. I just enjoyed going in. If I needed to go in for overtime, it didn't matter. I'd come in at any time of the day or night to do my job. So
any sense of personal satisfaction all of these years later to look back on that period of time when I think for those of us who follow such things, remember such things, and realize that, you know, you really did, whether it was part-time or not, you played a pretty valuable role in what people look back upon as a golden era of television here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, when people my age at least, when you grew up, you grew up watching Cowboy Bob or Janie's show and Sammy Terry on Friday nights. And I think to be part of that and to put those shows together for, you know, the cartoon shows together and to be a part of the Sammy Terry show, really was great because of me growing up and watching those TV shows. And so I wouldn't change a thing. I really enjoyed working there.
Well, as often is the case in that particular line of work, broadcasting, be it radio or television, eventually things change, budgets tighten up, and changes have to be made. And so you were involved in a change such as that at Channel 4.
Yeah, well, that was an abrupt halt. Every time they would sell the company, they would reduce headcount. And after about the third owner, they reduced headcount, and so they went ahead and let me go. But from there, I strived on, and I decided that I liked airplanes. So I went to the airport and actually got a job. I worked for American Transair for a couple years. I worked out on the runway and got close and up close to the planes and got to know the business a little bit, and to try to decide if I wanted to be like an airplane mechanic or whatever in that industry. And at the same time, I put in an application at Eli Lilly and Company. So as I was waiting to see if this great large pharmaceutical company would call me, I was working out on the runway at the airport.
So now, what year did you join Eli Lilly?
1989.
And in what capacity did you go to work at Lilly?
Actually, when I started there, I started out in printing. They felt that I worked at Channel 4, so printing would be a good fit for me. So I actually become an expert in setting up some printing presses, and that was all right. But I actually heard about these jobs, operator jobs, in some of the manufacturing areas that had to do with filtration and purification, which I was very interested in. I had hobbies putting together filtration systems for saltwater aquariums. And so I just thought, oh, there's filtration systems, that'll be great. I need to go over there and work. So there were some openings there, and I actually got a position there as an operator. And so then I decided I was going to be the best operator. So I worked real hard. I learned the areas like the back of my hand. Everything about them. And I started bugging the engineers, and I started trying to make improvements to the processes there. And so over time, the engineers started listening to some of my improvements, and we actually made some changes. And so then after that, they actually offered me a job in engineering.
So you're essentially, as you relate to being a self-taught engineer.
Yes, yes, self-taught.
And now things have kind of happened in reverse for you. I'm assuming it was not a prerequisite for you to continue your employment at Lilly, but you've decided to now go back to college and get a degree.
Yes, yeah, I've been going for the past 2 years. I'm taking a few classes each year. I don't know if I'm going to make it, but it's just for me, and I'm glad I started. It is helping me at work too, I'm finding, and hopefully I'll get an engineering degree in a few years.
You said something interesting to me before we went on that leads me to believe that this mechanical aptitude was something that you either were born with or developed at a very early age, because you talked about the filtration system and learning about ways to make improvements upon them. But I want to tie that into your days at Channel 4 when you talked about being able to essentially edit 3 shows on 3 machines all at once. I mean, it took some mechanical aptitude to do that.
Yes, it did. We had 3 editing bays. Back then it was BVU 800 machines, and they were like a 3/4 inch, I believe it was, tape. And I would actually edit 3 of the shows at the same time. So you would start one, get another one going, get another one going, and you just have to run back and forth and watch them and know when to edit. And you have to get pretty good at it.
And that's something you taught yourself to do?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
So that's, you know, and then 20 years later, you're essentially doing the same thing at Eli Lilly and looking at, and so.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I mean, everything I've tried to do, I try to be the best that I can at it. If I'm interested in something, I just start reading about it, and I try to learn as much as I can about it. When I built my first house, I wanted an irrigation system, so I learned how to design one, and I actually put one in at my first house, too.
Well, one of the things that we talk to our guests about here on the Hornet Spotlight is the fact that the opportunities that exist nowadays for students. Could you have imagined the opportunities that you may have had if a science academy had existed at that time. How beneficial is that to our students?
That would have been great because I was always interested in science, but something like you have right now would have probably set the fire to me a lot earlier. I found it. It took some time to get there, but I think those opportunities would be great. And I also think that education, and I'm 48 years old, and you know, I'm the oldest guy in the classroom. But I'm the only one doing the homework probably.
Right.
But I think if I would have done that first, it would have opened up even more doors. You know, even a technical trade school or something. But you know, I learned the hard way sometimes. You know, being self-taught, the ways that I do it, you know, I guess that's.
But
who I am.
follow me when I say this. In order to be successful, you have to be willing to get paid $25 to put worms in a box.
That's right.
You know,
work hard.
Yeah,
you
work hard, no matter where you are, what you're doing.
No matter what you're doing. I worked real hard to make that $25, and as silly as that sounds, working at a bait shop counting worms, all the way up to being an engineer at a pharmaceutical company. I still work hard. Even when I was an operator, if they told me to mop the floor, I would mop the floor, and I'd mop it very well. So.
Well, congratulations to you. On behalf
you.
of the folks here at Beech Grove, we want to welcome you into the Alumni Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Presenting this to Michael Finchum, and it's going to go out there on the wall in the foyer. You're out there with, I'm sure, former classmates and all the proud alumni from Beech Grove, and we hope it's not another 30 years before we see you back here. We'd like to see you come back and visit with us sometime, if that's possible.
That'd be great.
Okay.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Again, Michael Finchum's our guest. Want to run over the calendar of events coming up for you. On the 13th, the Winter Awards Night gets underway at 6 p.m. We had a great season in basketball. We had a great season in swimming. We had a wrestler make the state finals, Nevin Smiley, and we need to make sure that we pay those people the just due that they deserve. And if you want to stop by and be a part of that again, that's at 6 p.m. on the 13th. The 14th, 15th, and 16th, they've been working awfully hard in the drama department. They're preparing for their spring production, which is Hamlet, and that's in the auditorium, and you will enjoy that. End of the third quarter comes up the 15th, so mom and dad, check those grades and make sure that you aren't surprised when they come out. A dance marathon to benefit the good folks at Riley Children's Hospital comes up on the 16th. You can visit our website, find out how you can get more involved with that. Very, very important here, an opportunity that I did not have when I was in school, and I could have used it. Credit Rescue. It's your chance to save yourself from mom and dad's wrath, kids. If you're watching, you can go get that credit that you need if you didn't do particularly well this quarter in a class. That's from 3 to 8 on the 21st. Intersessions coming up, things like hiking, more Credit Rescue, college visits are planned, and then, of course, a Civil War show is planned for the 29th and 30th here at Beech Grove. You can always go to our website, the Beech Grove High School website, and get all of the information, all the things that we talked about. Again, our congratulations to Michael Finchum. I also want to thank our assistant principal here at Beech Grove High School, Randy Clevenger, for helping facilitate the interviews each and every month, and want to thank production assistance from Mr. Wiley Kraft. For now, I'm Mark Jade. So long from Beech Grove High School.